Yo, good morning, damn it. Piss and vinegar day. Whatever. Shoulder day. Shoulders and, well, this is another push day. And so I do chest at the start of the week, and then I do another push day at the end of the week where I do shoulders more so, but then I also hit chest once again to get a bit more stimulus in the chest until the following chest day. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And yeah, some pretty big news today I want to talk about. Well, let me just see if that camera's on me. Yeah. So some pretty big news. As you guys probably know, I'm a personal trainer, and I've just got news that I'll be training an actor, a family member who's a pretty big actor in Australia. Is doing a movie, and he wants to get in good shape and all jacked up for the role. It's a good chance it's going to happen, 90-95% chance. So I'm pretty excited, and yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about today, is training an actor and what that's going to be like and what I'm going to try and do and blah, 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 blah. But first I'm going to get into my overhead press sets. Okay. So I'm just doing one set to failure with the right arm. Second arm can get, or left arm can get 2 sets because it needs more. Yeah, so the gist of it is my uncle playing a role, and he's 72 though. So a few roadblocks here. First one is he's 72 years old. It is fundamentally quite a bit harder to get a 72-year-old muscular, because age-related muscle wastage or sarcopenia hits and you kind of lose it. Use it or lose it. And he hasn't really used it that much. He's a healthy guy, but he hasn't done much weightlifting throughout his life, so he hasn't really built up that nuclei or that muscle memory or just any significant amount of muscle. So tall order at 72 to get much muscle, and we have 6 months to do it. So in 6 months, it's a tall order to get anyone muscular, but a 72-year-old in 6 months, that's a real tall order. So there's a few different things I'm going to be doing to try and get him as big as I can. First things first was just get his hormones tested, see if he needs testosterone replacement therapy, because a lot of 72-year-olds do. Turns out this motherfucker comes back with the results, and he's got higher testosterone than me. He had 900, which is fucking insane for a 72-year-old. Mine was like, the best reading I ever got when I was testing my testosterone was like 880. Mine normally fluctuates from 650 to 800 range, which is not bad, not great, So yeah, higher test than me, that's not a big issue. That's promising. Obviously, testosterone doesn't have everything to do with muscle. There's a lot of other things that go into it. But my strategy as far as training goes is high intensity, obviously. And we're gonna just train a few muscles. We're not gonna train legs and back and abs and shit that's not gonna be on the camera anyway. We're just gonna train arms and shoulders and traps and neck. So all the most visceral, obvious muscles. The muscles you see most on a human, especially when they're on screen or just generally when you're looking at their face, is their neck and traps. It's the most important muscle for just generally looking jacked. If you look at someone and they have a big fucking neck and traps, you know that they lift weights. So neck and traps would be a big one, but then arms and shoulders. And arms and shoulders is actually not too bad a deal because, well, if he's anything like me, which he probably is because he's my uncle, so similar genetics, his arms will probably grow pretty quickly because on that side of the family, we all have pretty big arms. Delts, I don't know, we'll see. Androgen activity lowers as you get older, but basically the idea is not to train too many muscles that won't be that useful anyway, like back, chest, and abs, and things that you won't see unless there's a shirtless scene, which that's not going to happen. Or maybe if he gets in some incredible shape, it will. But you know, it's 6 months at 72. Probably not going to be rippling abs like a Chris Hemsworth or a Henry Cavill, who's 35 and runs, you know, 3 to 6 months of steroids to get ready for a role where you're making $50 million fucking dollars. This is not that kind of movie. It's big enough that, you know, get me wrong, if I was his age, I'm sorry, if I wasn't his age, if I was my age and they said, here's, I don't know, $3 million to do this movie, and it would help if you had muscles, I would go, fucking, all right, time to get on. That'd be the only reason I'd ever take steroids, is if I was going to be an athlete or I was going to make a shit ton of money from it in some way, probably in the industry of film making, right? So I get it, but at 72, I mean, not only can I not help him out there, because I'm not, you know, I don't know anything about that shit, like, or not enough, I mean, not enough, but I'm not enough to help a 72-year-old out with it, you know what I mean? I've not got any experience in that realm. And 2 is 72, so I don't think a 72-year-old should be doing steroids, regardless if there's money involved. In saying that, he's his own man. If someone else goes into his ear and says, look, do testosterone, do this, whatever, then fucking so be it. I'd much rather this stays natural, just for health alone, because I love my uncle. I don't want him to die or have any ill health effects, especially when he's 70 years old and he has 920 testosterone. It's like, would you want to crash that and potentially never get it back? I don't think so. If you're 72 and you made it that far, no point fucking getting on a test just because, I don't know. Anyway, that's just my thinking. I want to keep it natural. Oh, shit. That's definitely feeling lighter. It's getting stronger. This arm is getting close to being fixed, I think. Fuck, that makes it a bit easier if I grab the bench. Fuck. All right, moving on to side lateral raises. Yeah, so I don't know. What was I talking about? Fuck. Oh yeah. Yeah, as far as the training actor thing. All right, moving on to side lateral raises. So the other thing to consider is diet. How I'm going to go about the diet. And my thing, well, my idea is in 6 months, if you want to build any significant amount of muscle, you probably want to be in a bit of a surplus, but then you only have 2 months to cut. You want it to be too much of a surplus. And I was thinking, what's the best strategy to look the best in this time? And one of the things I was thinking was, the actors that are huge on screen sometimes, or seem huge, aren't even that huge. They're just ripped. They got a bit of muscle, and then it's just lean enough that they now look good. Like when you're lean, like really lean, in the right lighting conditions, and as long as you're not standing next to someone who's actually fundamentally bigger than you, which is most people aren't going to be, because most people aren't very big or strong or jacked, then you look pretty fucking huge. A good example of this would be Brad Pitt and Troy, or Fight Club, wasn't really that big. It's like I kind of built the amount of muscle that you could probably build in a year or two of really hard training. But he was really ripped and really lean. And obviously, I mean, Brad Pitt's got a few other things going for him. He's fucking Brad Pitt, so he has an aura about him. His face looks a certain way. Good insertions, you know, good frame. Arguable, actually. Thinking back, I don't think he had a great bone structure necessarily, as far as, you know, shoulders or rib cage go, not face. Another one would be, I'm trying to think, another actor. Chris Evans in The Avengers. A bit bigger, don't get me wrong, but not huge, not like absolutely that big. A lot of it was lighting, getting a pump, and probably being like dehydrated. These guys, they do like water fast a lot of times for like shirtless scenes or scenes where they got their muscles. But yeah, these guys aren't necessarily massive. They're just really lean. And so when you have a bit of muscle and you're really lean and you're not compared to someone who actually is relatively big, then no one really knows, no one's gonna look at, you know, Chris Evans or Brad Pitt in those movies and go, oh no, those are only 14-inch arms. He's just really shredded. They're just gonna look at him and go, that guy's jacked. They're not gonna think necessarily that he's huge, like, you know, Chris Hemsworth. He gets huge. That's a fucking, like, you know, like a amateur bodybuilder level size. But not everyone's got that genetics and, you know, whatever, or the steroid usage. But these other guys, I mean, Brad Pitt basically did it natural. I don't think Brad would have taken anything to be the way he looked. He's just, you know, some good genetics, some good training for a little bit, and got really ripped. So that all aside, or that in consideration, my idea is to bulk up my uncle, get him as much muscle as I can in 4 months, and then spend 2 months getting as lean as possible, just getting really ripped up, getting veiny, getting lean, mean. That looks good, especially when you're under lighting conditions and you're not standing next to someone who mogs you, right? So, whereas if we just like go bear mode, the problem with bear mode is it only works if you have a decent degree of muscle. I'm bear mode right now, probably about 17% body fat. It works. I look pretty big and strong because I'm big and strong, right? But I've been training for a long fucking time, and I'm younger. But when you're only training for 6 months, I've done that too. I remember going bear mode after just 2 years of training, and I looked like shit. I just didn't have enough muscle. I just looked fat because I was just fat. And I would probably be kind of what you consider chubby right now if I didn't have, you know, 17-inch arms or 17-inch arm and, you know, some decent muscle mass, right? So I was thinking about bear mode to look intimidating, but I won't be lean enough. It'll just look like a fat dude with a kind of chunky. I'm thinking just get really as big as possible really quickly and then get shredded up and get that kind of just like, yeah, aesthetic look, just like lean and veiny and striated. That's my idea of body composition. And the diet will be very simplistic shit. Meat, potatoes, veggies, fruits, eggs, a little bit of rice when bulking. Just the same shit I do. Same shit I give all my clients. All the shit. Basically, the vertical diet by Stan Efferding, but modified for adherence. It's gonna be interesting. I hope I can get him into in pretty incredible shape. All right, let's see what's going on here. I only do one arm, that's right. Fuck. Oh, fuck. shit. Those aren't that much weaker actually. Maybe 2.5 kilos more strength than the right side when it comes to lateral raise, but that's pretty good. It's getting even. Yeah, so the training will be 3 times. Well, I'm hoping 3, maybe more like, you know, 2, sometimes 1, I don't know, but busy schedules and stuff. But I'm committed as shit because obviously this is quite a big opportunity. Training an actor, that's a big in if you can do it. And you know what? The thing I'm gonna do is just be mad transparent. If it gets to the point where, you know, I don't know, my uncle's pretty generous, so he'd probably try and get me, I don't know, interview or something. I don't know how that would work, but he's a very generous man. I think he's even trying to get me like a role in a movie, which is pretty funny. I don't think I can act, but very generous man. He's a good dude. I love my uncle, right? So, but yeah, if I, by some fucking miracle, was able to get an interview anywhere in regards to this, because I get him in incredible shape. Because the thing is, people love it when actors just randomly become miraculously jacked, right? It's just like this thing, and especially if they've never been jacked before, and especially if they're 72 years old and they're making a comeback in their career, which all that's happening. So I think that could probably get some eyes, which would be great for my uncle and it'd be great for me. But the thing is, if I got any publicity for it, I would want to be transparent and none of this marketing gimmicky fucking bullshit that trainers of athletes and celebrities alike do. They'll just come up with random bullshit and sell it as a secret to the success. Like, I remember reading something for Chris Hemsworth's trainer and other trainers of celebrities, and you see people like Dr. Mike Israel, not a huge fan of him to be honest, but what he does do is he rips these celebrity trainers apart. They just make bullshit up to seem special because their clientele is fucking rich, right? So they want to seem special, when in reality, most of these actors, they're getting on gear. When you get on gear, anything fucking works. And anything that progressively overload works, but what works more optimally? The fundamentals do, really. You don't need to be doing baseball bat, fucking one-legged fucking Bulgarian split squats, you know, for stability and shit. Like, you can do that, and if you progressively overload it somehow, even without the proper standardization, you'll get bigger. And if you're on gear, especially. But yeah, I don't want to do any of that. I would be like the antithesis. I'd be like, oh no, we're focusing on progressive overload and full motor unit recruitment and decent amount of frequency. And I would just be totally transparent if that ever happened, as a kind of a fuck you to that side of the industry, because it's just weird. I don't know, I just hate that shit. And same with like, you know, you get the same thing with athlete trainers where they just make all this bullshit up, and a lot of time it's dangerous, actually increases injury risks. So yeah, the way I want to approach it is like full on authentically, and just be like, yeah, this is what we're doing. We're just doing fundamentals. We're doing high intensity training. That's the most glamorous part of it, really. But high intensity training is, you know, it's just like, it's just normal. Like you need to train with intensity to make adaptations. That's the driver of hypertrophy. So yeah, that's what I want to do with that side of things. If anything ever came up like that, where there's publicity or whatever, I would just be like, it'd be a big fuck you to the celebrity trainers. I'd be like, this is actually what you do to get in shape. You just train hard and you progressively overload and you eat well. Oh, fuck. I'll consider just going to task failure. If you guys are wondering why I'm out of breath today, I hung out with a mate that I haven't seen in about 6.5 years yesterday. And sometimes when I drink, I smoke cigars. I very rarely drink, and I don't smoke at all. But I smoked about 7 cigars last night, maybe even a bit more than that, really. And dude, I can't fucking breathe today. Hey, like I was in the taxi after we got done at the pub, and head was just spinning. But when you get old enough, when you're drinking, like, dude, if I don't smoke cigars when I drink alcohol now, I just go to sleep. I just pass the fuck out because I'm old man. So cigars, not only are they nice, but they keep me buzzed. So I like that. I like smoking and drinking. Not ciggies though. Ciggies are for fags. I just straight up smoke fucking big, round, you know. Oh, I love this exercise, so good, man. Cool, again, progress. Shit's working so far. I'm gonna finish off some shrugs, and lately I'd been doing the shrugs with the straps over my shoulders because I was scared of loading the bicep too much. Today I'm gonna slowly sort of put some weights in my hands and see. I'm just gonna see, you know, if it's all right. I'll go light. I'll do higher reps, which I don't like doing higher reps because it's harder to recover from. But for the traps, you know, my traps don't grow, which means they're probably very type 1 dominant, which means they probably aren't getting much unit recruitment anyway, which is not then taxing my central nervous system that much. But anyway, 12 to 15 reps just for now, just because I don't want to be loading this arm with like 40, 50 kilos, you know? So last time I did these Dorian Yates shrugs, I was doing like 38 kilos. This is 25, so yeah, that's pretty fucking light. But I'll just go higher reps. Focus more of a squeeze. You know what? I don't like these fucking dumbbells. They're in the way. I'm gonna try cables. Because the dumbbells start impeding upon your hips. I got big childbearing hips. And those are big fuck off dumbbells because they're those, you know, cheap mechanical twisty fuckers. So I'm just gonna try cables. Also the cables like puts you out here. I don't know, I feel like it probably doesn't make a big difference, but like having the resistance coming from this angle, which suits the, you know, lever of the clavicle coming up. I don't know, very bro sciencey probably, but anyway, let's try these out. Not too bad. Yeah, really in closing, with my uncle, I'm gonna put everything I can into him. I'm gonna give him the single best training I can, right? With all the considerations in mind, trying to put most of the growth into some areas rather than trying to disperse it throughout the entire body. As much, you know, natural alternatives to get as big as possible. You know, Tomcat Ali, you know, ashwagandha, maca root, just some things, just to give him like just as many little percentage bases as I can. I'm gonna try and get him into that. You know, on set, help him with water fasting to get him as, or salt fasting rather, to get him just as grainy as possible for scenes where he has to look as jacked as possible, right? Tell him how to be in lighting. Make sure you're backlit anytime you want to look as big as you want, right? Right now I'm fucking backlit, I look big, right? But if I put a light right there, I'm gonna look like shit. So, you know, maybe tell him, you know, this is the kind of lighting conditions you want to be as big as possible. If you wear a shirt, wear it this way to look bigger. Like just as every little conceivable thing I can to make him look as jacked as possible, as lean as possible. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put everything into it because it's a big deal, dude.